Can you do a video about how to utilize Fahrakin the Fat, please? Laka Shama ask. Of course.
I got you, homie.
Alright, in this video I wanted to take a look at Fahrakin the Fat. Finally, he's a champion that I've slept on for a while on my main account because ally attack is not a content that I actually had the opportunity to test earlier on until I've already built all other teams. So when he finally came into my account, I felt like there was no need to use him. In this video, I'm going to be showing you 3 ways you can use Fahrakin the Fat. I'm going to be testing out 2 of them that is already built out and ready to go, and let you imagine the third one for yourself. Fahrakin the Fat is a champion, epic champion for the Babarian faction, who is almost qualified as a legendary because of the amount of damage he can bring into your team. If you did not know, that's him right there. He's actually fat in terms of his character design. And when he came out into the game, everybody went crazy because we couldn't believe that an epic champion can actually do this all ally join attack. That's what he brings to the team. It doesn't just tell all your allies to join the attack. He first of all increases their crit rate by 30%, then increases their crit damage by additional 30%. That's a lot of damage coming in right there. That means your allies can actually be built with 70% crit rate, or the ones that are chilling at 80, they will now have 100% crit rate to go in there and do damage. Remember that when allies join this attack, they will only use their default A1 skills, not their big A2 and A3 abilities. So the bad part about Fahrakin the Fat is he doesn't join the attack. 3 people or 4 people, whoever you have in the team, will go in for that attack. Fahrakin the Fat will sit there holding his hands with his crit rate and increased crit damage on his head, chilling right there. He does not join the attack. That's where Longbeard is better than this champion. Yes, people always compare Fahrakin the Fat and Longbeard. It's an old argument, but Longbeard by all means is better than Fahrakin the Fat because he joins the attack and he also increases all your allies attack also. He's better. That's also better than crit damage increase in my books. So that argument has already been resolved. Well, let's not even talk about it. This skill is on a 4-turn cooldown when you finally book it, and it's totally worth booking if you're going to be using this champion for PvP content where you might use this skill over and over again. Now for PvP content, nope, you only need to use it once and everything should be dead in your path. So that's what he's bringing to the team. Now, if you're going to be using this champion for other content, he has an A1 that has decreased defense right there, a 40% chance to land it when booked up to a 50% chance of landing decreased defense. Extremely useful for dungeon content where you don't need to bring in an additional champions to do decreased defense for you. He might be the champion that is doing it for you, although it might want to place it first before you're going in with that increased all ally join attack. So that A1 is good. It's not one of those A1 where like it's totally useless. It's totally useful in every content. Another clan boss ability is this one that has poison and HP burn. Those are 2 debuffs that the clan boss can take damage from, especially the poisons right there. And it's also very valuable in dungeon content, especially the poisons right there. So this champion is coming in with other abilities besides just that or ally join attack. This one is on a 3-turn cooldown and it could be your default poisoner. It's not a reliable way to do poisons on a 3-turn cooldown. You need one of those A1 poisoners or those ones who do 4 poisons at a time. That's the most reliable. Or even AoE poison is better than this single target A1 poison, except against bosses though. But against wave content, you want AoE poisoners. So this is extremely useful also for the clan boss to help your default poisoner like Frozen Banshee or Occult Brawler fill up that poison bar. So again, you're seeing this champion that looks like a total champion built for the clan boss. And yes, that is one of his #1 priority places that a lot of players who are coming into raid will use him. So if you have Fahrakin the Fat and he's not part of your clan boss team, I'll ask you why. Are you okay? He should be in your clan boss team if you do not already have one of those unkillable Manita, Demeter teams going for you, even Helicat. If you want to have one of those unkillable teams, you don't need Fahrakin the Fat. Also, one of those unkillable teams might even add Fahrakin the Fat to their team to even do more damage, those double Manita teams also. So he's very, very awesome. He has a passive which is just like, man, what is this? He just 20% of damage that he takes will go to other allies. Like, okay, so he can survive longer, I guess. I don't understand what the point of this passive is at all, because normally we just need to use this skill once and everything should be dead. All right, That's Fahrakin the Fat. Maybe that should keep him alive longer in case you don't go first, so you can actually do something for your team. That's his skills breakdown. He looks like he have good base stats, 100 speed. That is not a slow champion at all. And HP is kind of low though, and defense is out there. All right, let's head over to my champion build and see how I actually build this champion. The best artifacts you could put on him. You've seen that this champion has some debuffs that he should place for your team. That means he will need accuracy. Not a priority, but if you're gonna use him in that type of content, you will need accuracy. Recently used first should be Fahrakin the Fat at the top. Right there. I put this champion in Relentless set because I do have enough to throw around and flex on, right? Now, as a newer player coming into raid, if you're going to use this champion for clan boss, you need this champion in lifesteal. That's the best set for newer players or mid game. Even end game players who are still using him in Ultra Nightmare have Fahrakin the Fat in lifesteal. So you cannot go wrong with lifesteal on this champion. That's the first thing I should mention right there as the default set that most players put him in. Even if you're not using this champion for the clan boss, if you're going to be using him in dungeons, for him not to be a liability, for him to be available for the next wave, so he can keep himself alive. Whenever he hits that A1, he heals back to full health. Whenever he hits that A2, he should be able to heal himself and not rely on a healer like Apothecary, who should be healing the other liabilities, not him. He shouldn't be a liability for your team. So that's the best set that most players want to put on him, lifesteal. Now if you have a leech out there for your endgame player, you're using it for clan boss, stalwart set is also a viable one for him to even reduce more damage that he takes from those AO hits from the clan boss. So that's the best set I think a lot of people will put on him. You see a lot of people putting Fahrakin the Fat in this set. If you don't have a banner, perception set is always good for you to add to this lifesteal set to help you get that required number of accuracy, 200, 250 that you need for Ultra Nightmare clan boss, or less if you're beating lower levels. Even 200 for Dungeon 20 is enough. Which other sets, if you're new to raid, you don't have good life sets, or you're not using this champion for the clan boss at all, for dungeons, like where else? You want to go speed set is fine. This champion is not picky. That's the point. He only needs a little bit of accuracy, and then you don't even need much on him. You just need him to be fast, because remember, the enemies will take a turn. You want him to go in there first before they have the opportunity to take a turn. So by ally attack being used once in battle and enough speed to make it come around again to be used again in battle if it's PvE content. That's why you should have some speed on him and not having going slow at 150. No, be at least above 200. So Fahrakin the Fat could be one of the champions that goes first in your team after your decreased defense and weaken is placed out there. So that's the amount of speed you should have on him. And I'll show you my total stats right there. And I'm looking at 227 speed. Now his HP and defense, it's not fully maxed, yes, but that's not what I was focusing on at all. I was mostly looking at crit rate and crit damage because I wanted this champion to hit hard. I didn't just want him to be the champion buffing other people. Then when it is turn to use his A2 and A3, he's hitting like a wet noodle. No, this amount of 258 crit damage plus his increased crit damage that he will add to himself will have this champion hitting almost at 300 crit damage. That's a huge hit from that A2. In case of any of the allies don't go down, right, when you go in with your ally attack, he can then go in there and maybe clean up the job for you. Accuracy is enough for Dungeon 20 to 25 content. That's what I have the accuracy for. This champion is not built for arena for me. So even in the arena, you don't even need accuracy. You just need full speed, so he could be one of the champions that goes first, so all of your allies can go in there and nuke. So that's what most people are using for PvP content. I don't think you need accuracy for PvP, but if you're gonna using this champion for Doom Tower, for dungeon, for clan boss, you do need accuracy on him. So you choose where you want to use him. That's my total stats. I was looking for speed, crit rate right there, speed and crit damage glove. Again, I built him for damage. You do not need to build damage on this champion, and this is why his HP and defense is a bit low, because I put attack chest on him and I put crit damage glove on him, and I even put crit damage amulet on this champion. Again, I built him for damage. You can go alternate route. If you're building for the clan boss with a skull crusher and defensive champion, you need defense. You don't need to be doing damage. No. You need defense out here. You need defense on the chest. You need defense on the glove if you're building this champion for a killable team for clan boss with Sepulchre, with Frozen Banshee. Don't come in here with crit damage and attack. he should always be in defense because of that a clan boss build. Even in dungeon builds to help him survive longer, he can be in the defense build. I am doing an endgame flex build. That's why you see me going crit damage, flexing my crit damage all over the place. All right, that's my build for Fahrakin the Fat. For Masteries, I'm not using this champion a lot. Like I said, I've been sleeping on him. That's why I do not have mastery on him. He's also not in my clan boss team. But I'll show you the mastery that you want to go for clan boss. It's the standard clan boss mastery that takes you all the way down here to war master. That's the mastery you want on him. You might want to select this one to get him some healing or something like this. That's a perfect one for him. And then, of course, it's a champion that needs accuracy. So you might want to pick up a little bit of accuracy from the support 3 if you don't have enough accuracy. If you do have enough accuracy, you might want to go towards defense 3. Now, for general content, for dungeon content, you see a lot of people going this way because you want increase the chance of placing that his debuff. I'm talking about the defense and decrease defense on that A1. This can help him increase the chance. Also, his debuff that he's placing on the enemies, that he has a HP burn and the 2 poisons. You might want to use this Master Hexer to increase the duration of those poison and the duration of those HP burn right there. That's one clan boss build. If you do not want to go towards the support 3, maybe you have enough accuracy, another viable clan boss build that a lot of people seem to be using this champion in is one that requires him to have counter attack right there, something like this. So this counter attack will help him be able to use that A1 more consistently and put that decreased defense, especially if he's the only champion in your team that has that decreased defense out there for you, which is not a viable way to do decreased defense. You need somebody else that has this on a consistent basis, not an A1 that has a 45% chance to land. So this is one way of making sure that he goes in with that extra hit, especially if you have him built in a little bit of damage. So, but I personally don't want this. This is just for an endgame build where you have enough accuracy, maybe from your great hall. So choose which one you want to go. Now for PvP content, a lot of people for PvP do not go towards that offense 3 at all, because remember, he does not join in the attack, right? So a lot of people decide to go for this defense right here, something like this, and then support 3, accuracy. Even maybe you want to reset this cooldown. I'm trying to get all the way down right here. This is it. So this is what a lot of people will go for. This one, timely intervention, if you're using him for strictly PvP, that is arena, you want him to be the champion that goes in there with your skull crown, with your senecia, to do big hits to the enemies and flatten them before they can even move. That is called a blender team. All right, that's how you can select your masteries for what's his name now, Fahrakin the Fat, depending on where you're going to use him, PvP, clan boss, or general dungeon content. Let's head over into some content right now to test this champion out in real life situations, and I'll show you the first place. I'm not going to be doing the run. Like I said, I'll show you 3 different places you can use him, but I'll not run one of them. The first one that I'll not run is because I don't have a team built for him, but I'll show you a sample team that can do it right there. Somebody on my team is using Fahrakin the Fat right there. Kit is using Fahrakin the Fat with Skull Crusher, with what's his name now, this decrease defense and weaken champion. So this team looks like is a team that can possibly do Ultra Nightmare. Yes, that's an Ultra Nightmare team on a 2 key if you have the right gear for it. So if I hit that Ultra Nightmare battle, I don't have a key right now, that's why I say I will not be showing you the run. But a team like that with Fahrakin the Fat in your team, with Skull Crusher, with Sepulchre Sentinel, it's a totally normal team. Frozen Banshee, whoever you're bringing in there is bringing decreased defense, weaken, poisons. Fahrakin the Fat is exceptional at helping Frozen Banshee land more poison. You just have to make sure Frozen Banshee is faster than Fahrakin the Fat, so she can place her poison sensitivity before Fahrakin the Fat starts his all-allied joint attack to help her place even more poison and fill up that poison bar. You have to be careful though that your decreased defense and weaken is out there before she goes in and start doing all that poison, so you don't end up filling up 10 poisons with no decreased defense or weaken, or even no chance to place decreased attack. That's something you have to watch out for. So that's where Fahrakin the Fat can be used in a clan boss team with a normal team. Now, if you have a way of building him with a unkillable team, head over to Deadwood Jedi website. I'm sure there's a team out there that has Fahrakin the Fat with what do you call it now? With Manita, with Demeter. He can help in such a team. You have to be careful when using this champion with a champion like Ninja though, or like a champion like what's her name now? Fane, who has that A1 to boost their turn meter. You have to be careful with that. Factor that into your calculation. So totally a champion that can help you do Ultra Nightmare 2 key. Sorry, I don't have a team that can show you that. So let's head over to the dungeon where we can actually see a real fight where Fahrakin the Fat can help us do something. So I'll head over to the Dragon 20. That's not his most popular place. The most popular place in the dungeon will be Fire Knight, because with Fahrakin the Fat in your Fire Knight team, he can just make sure that boss that the shield needs to come down melts. So by melt, I mean you don't need a cold heart and a law to help you take down the shield of the boss. With Fahrakin the Fat, everybody joins the attack and the shield just comes down really, really fast. I put together a sample team that can maybe make that happen with Apothecary in the leader slot with that 4 heater on the A1. So that's a sample team right there. Let's see how it runs and make sure they are all positive affinity to the force of level 20 of this Fire Knight boss. And let's see. I had Fahrakin the Fat in our first Noob to Pro series, right? And he was one of the first champions that really helped us a lot to beat dungeon content. So remember, even if you don't have AoE hitters on their A1 to go with him, single hitters on A1 is totally fine as long as he can point one person and take that person down. So let's see who he's going to take down. Decrease defense and weaken. He pointed at that champion. Will she go down? Oh, we almost had her. But Fane will clean up the job. So that's what Fahrakin the Fat will do. He points one person, everybody goes in for that person and make sure that person goes down. Now, like I said, it's best when you have AoE hitters. So not one person will take the damage, but every enemy in the team will also take that same damage. I didn't bring in a reviver right here. I might die. Apothecary will heal me, I hope so. Or Fane will just go crazy. She's built for my clan boss, that's why she's doing this much damage and taking so much extra hits. Now, I also have Fahrakin the Fat in a set that will give him extra chance to, get his turn meter full back up again. You see, we are able to use this skill twice in one battle. So let's see if he can take a turn and get his time to do it again. Extra hits, that's it right there. Extra hits. That's why I put this champion in Relentless set. This will make sure that we can use this all allied joint attack right now in the second wave. So it's not something you can wait for a long time for it to happen again. That's why I put Relentless set on him. So he has taken 3 turns now. He can use it again in battle before they can start knocking us, hopefully. Hopefully they don't take down Fane. If they take down Fane, we might have a problem with this battle. Ooh, they went for Apothecary, which is nice. Yes, he's able to use that beat down again. And the skill is appropriately called beat down. That means everybody joins and beat down one person. I'm still waiting for us to get to the boss so we can actually see, because that's the whole point I brought Fahrakin the Fat into this battle. Extra turns, nice. 26k damage with that amount of crit damage is not bad. Because normally people don't build a champion like this with damage. You just go full speed so you can do his stuff. Now, I made a mistake. I did not let Fahrakin the Fat save his all allied joint attack skill for the boss. You might want to set a preset that allows him to do that. I was supposed to make him save his preset for that battle, but I guess we can still take down the boss shield without his help. But if you don't have multiple champions doing multiple hits like this, you might want to make sure Fahrakin the Fat saves his all allied joint attack, this skill. You want to save it for the boss fight. You don't want him to use it in the second wave. Maybe you can open with it, but don't let him use it in the second wave. You want him to set it to be the default skill that he starts and opens with. So when this battle ends, I'll go to my setup and make that happen in my champion setup and make sure that's how it's set. I totally overlooked that because that would have helped us taking the shield down a lot faster, especially when you're going against this boss in higher levels where the shield is a lot higher to take down in terms of the count, and the boss is faster there too. Fahrakin the Fat can also be paired with a lot of champions that have stun, sleep, all these champions that you want them to, especially in Doom Tower content where you don't want them to take a turn. Maybe I'll show you a sample run of that if we still have time to end before we end this video. Let me edit the team and make that a little bit of adjustment to my team setup so you know how to really set this champion for Fire Knight content when you're going against this boss shield. You want to set up Fahrakin the Fat to not use his skill on round 2. Don't use this skill. Right? So you might want to say open with it, because the fight will take a long time. So you might, if it's available, he should open with it, but he should not use it after it's used once. So it's available for the next round. And for the next round, you want him to always open with this skill. That's it. That's the little adjustment I want to set up right there. So with this, he will be the boss. He will be the one to take down the boss shield before anybody else can start going with their A1 decrease stun meter or place debuffs. So that's the little adjustment right there, and save. All right, that's Fire Knight's boss, Fahrakin the Fat. Extremely useful. Like, I did not bring in a law right here. I did not bring in a Colder right here. Even if you take an apothecary, Fahrakin the Fat will still be able to take down the shield. Remember, that's the 4 champions hitting the boss. With them taking their A1s also, the boss shield will go down. Extremely useful for this fight. And I found it useful for my New to Pro series. For Dragon fight, I put together a sample team that can also take down the Dragon with Fahrakin the Fat as one of the champions that is facilitating damage. That's what he's here for. Damage facilitator. He's not like extremely useful to this content, but let me just run the battle and show you how it will happen. I managed to bring in a Bigon who is an AoE nuker right here, and I also put in an increased attack champion for that extra attack on the aura. I also don't want this one to be longer, that's why I brought in a Lydia to place that decrease defense and weaken before we can go in there with our big nukes. So if you have champions who have AoE damage, bring him right here. So this is champion. This is not a champion only for clan boss. That's what I'm trying to say. Let's see who can kill. Boom. So right now, because of our what's her name, Bigon has AoE hits. That's why this one is a little bit easier to deal with. Let's see if Fahrakin the Fat skill is available again. It's not yet available. Lydia's decrease defense and weaken is also not available. If you have a champion that can reset the cooldown of their skills, maybe fine, you can bring that champion in right there. Fahrakin the Fat, is your skill available? I think it should be available now. Nah, it's not. It's on the next turn. Then he'll be able to take down one person with the big hits. So let's see when he can use it in battle. I want to see how he's going to be using it right now. That's it. So even against the boss, it's extremely useful to use this skill in battle. Bigon did not get to use that skill. Against the boss, it hits hard. So let's see how we're going to melt this boss with this Fahrakin the Fat or allied joint attack. Brand of Shame, 2 poisons and a HP bomb. So I didn't want him to be the only champion doing poison right here. That's why I brought in a Venomage to assist with the poison. And also Venomage champions who have A1s that can do something like poison explosion, like Venomage does activate the poisons with our A1. Fahrakin the Fat allows Venomage to actually activate that poison. Extremely useful in content like Clan Boss also, if you pair them together. So it's not only Frozen Banshee that Fahrakin the Fat can facilitate. He can also facilitate a champion like Venomage, who has that A1 which activates poison. So whenever Fahrakin the Fat says, let's join attack, see, she's about to activate even more poisons. 2 more poisons just activated. So all this damage that was done to the Clan Boss can be attributed to Fahrakin the Fat, although it doesn't count towards his damage. So he's almost hitting as hard as a Royal Guard when it comes to this type of content, because of Royal Guard does his hit and the Clan Boss health just goes zoop. Fahrakin the Fat does his hit and the Clan Boss health just goes the same way. So it's almost the same type of damage that they both do. Almost. But you can't compare that to the Cold Heart though. So that's how you can use Fahrakin the Fat in 3 content. I'm talking about Clan Boss content, Dungeon content, and the third one I wanted to highlight is arena content, finally, because that's one of his best way. Besides the Clan Boss, which is #1 priority, a lot of people use this champion as a blender comp in the arena. So I'll show you a sample blender comp. I might not run it because I don't know if I have the champion to make it happen. So a sample blender comp would look something like Fahrakin the Fat with Senesha and Skull Crown. Senesha and Skull Crown is the best way to run a... Let me see. I'm looking for my Senesha. I know it's not a champion I have built yet. I'm waiting to have a Skull Crown before I build my Senesha. So Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? There she is. So I don't have a skull crown to complete this build. That's why I don't use a blender comp. Now, even if you don't have a skull crown to complete this build, you can run another champion who does AoE damage on their A1 like a Bigon. So that's my only champion that I have that has that AoE on his A1 as a nuker right there. So maybe I'll build my skull crown with a team like this. But in the absence of a second champion to go with Fahrakin the Fat, I'll just add maybe another champion that I know hits extremely hard on that A1, which will melt anything in its path. Even if it's negative affinity against all these champions right here, I'll still put him in right there. So I'm waiting to go with my Arbiter first of all, increased attack, then Fahrakin the Fat can go in. Increasing the crit damage of my already high crit damage of these nukers is crazy. Although, what's his name? This dude does increase his own crit damage before he attacks on his next turn. But Bigon will really benefit from this increased crit damage. So let's see who we're going to take down. Increase attack. Fahrakin the Fat is going to attack one person. Who should we go? Let's go for this big champion. Doom, 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 doom. Melt everything. Everything melts. So normally if I had AoE coming in out there for everybody, they will all be dead. But right now the only person who did AoE damage to all of them is Bigon. If I had a second AoE champion, they should all be dead. That's why Senesha and Skullcrown are so good. So I just wanted to do a sample run of that PvE content to show you how Fahrakin the Fat is usually used in that content. This is not ideal. Now a lot of people say since you don't have a AoE nukas, you shouldn't use Fahrakin the Fat in that type of blender comp. You can. I still see him being used against a team like what's his name now? This champion that can totally protect somebody. I have him in my one of my teams. Where am I going back? No. I wanted to show you against a team like a Necrit. That's what I'm thinking about. A Necrit that totally protects somebody, and I have it in my team too. Right here. So if you find a team like this, when you know this Necrit will be a problem, he will totally protect this guy, and you cannot kill. What's his name now? You cannot kill Kandafon when a Necrit is protecting him. Bring in a Fahrakin the Fat with single target hitters or multi-target hitters. All of them targeting that Necrit or targeting that this damage dealer will take that champion down. And you know that once you take this damage dealer down, you now have a way to relax and slowly take down the other enemies. So Fahrakin the Fat can also help with that, especially if it's a slow team that have a win condition of protecting one nuker. That's one viable way of taking down that nuker and making sure they go down before you can go in there and start taking down the rest of the tanks. All right. I've shown you enough of the content. I can't go into the Doom Tower and show you the same thing because that's basically the same thing that Fahrakin the Fat. But if you have him going for a team, one of those teams that are extremely difficult to beat, this one has gone long enough. You might want to put Fahrakin the Fat with a team like recently used. Hold on. I'm talking about now stun. I'm looking for stunners. Where are my stunners? I can't find them now. I'm looking for stun. Not recently used then. By rank. Aha. Somebody like this. So if you have those A1 stunners, AoE stunners that have AoE on their A1 and you're going against a team in the Doom Tower, Fahrakin the Fat is awesome for that content to make sure that those stunners always use their A1s and land their stun. So that's one awesome way of using this champion that I found out for Doom Tower content. If you don't, this is not for damage now. This is also against the champion. If you have stun on your, what's her name? She can also do that. Once Fahrakin the Fat takes his stun, everybody just goes in with their A1 and make sure the enemy stays stunned the entire time. That's an awesome way to use him. Another way, that's a perfect team like this. There's no way the enemy is not getting stunned. All of them will be stunned. Something like this. I'm not going to run it, but test it out and let me know what you think about it in the comments below. All right, guys, that's been my guide on Fahrakin the Fat. I know this is not concentrated on the clan boss, but I just wanted to put this one together to help newer players who are getting this champion see possible ways you can use him. Hit that like button in this video for me if this one helps you, and I'll see you guys in the next Raid Solo Legends video. Comment below which champion next I should do a guide on. Later, guys.